All right, let's just jump right in. The one question that seems to be on everyone's mind is AI coming for my job? In this explainer, we're going to break down why the real threat isn't actually the AI itself, and more importantly, what you can do about it. And you know what? It kind of feels that way, doesn't it? As AI expert Bindu Nelson puts it, the conversation almost always spirals into this end-of-the-world Armageddon scenario. And it's a totally understandable fear, this idea that technology is just going to swoop in and make us all obsolete. But what if we're looking at this all wrong? I mean, instead of some kind of extinction event, what if this is a massive opportunity? A moment where AI becomes the new infrastructure, the new backbone of how business gets done. You see, the real challenge isn't about being replaced. It's about being ready for what comes next.
Okay, so let's tackle that fear head-on. Section 1. What is really going to happen to our jobs?
This is the big one, isn't it? The whole nightmare scenario where a team of, say, 10 people suddenly becomes, well, just one person, all thanks to AI. And look, this isn't a new feeling. We've seen this kind of anxiety pop up with pretty much every major technological shift in history. So here's where we need to shift our thinking. Experts are pretty clear on this. We're not looking at widespread job elimination. What we're actually seeing is a massive job transformation. Think about it like this. The boring, repetitive parts of your job get automated, and that frees you up to focus on the more strategic, creative, and valuable stuff that, honestly, only a human can do. A perfect example of this is the medical transcription industry. This was a whole field that didn't even exist until new recording technologies were invented. Then it absolutely boomed. But now, automation is making that specific task obsolete. But, and this is the key part, the people with those skills don't just vanish. They adapt. They evolve into new roles that this new tech landscape actually creates. Okay, so if our jobs are transforming, not disappearing, that leads to a pretty important question. What skills do we actually need to succeed in this new AI-powered world? Let's dive into that in Section 2. Now, this might sound a little counterintuitive at first, but it's probably the most important takeaway here. As machines get better and better at all the number crunching and repetitive tasks, our uniquely human skills, things like creativity, critical thinking, empathy, they don't just stay relevant. They become our absolute greatest asset, our superpower, really. So what are we talking about specifically? Well, Bindu Nelson points to 3 big ones. First up is systems thinking. That's the ability to see the big picture, to understand how AI fits into the puzzle of our companies and our society. Next, there's ethical reasoning. This is about making smart judgment calls and thinking ahead about unintended consequences. And finally, and this one is huge, collaborative intelligence. This idea of a co-creation partner is a total game changer. It's about shifting our mindset away from seeing AI as just a tool, like a hammer or a calculator, and starting to see it as a collaborator, a teammate. And when you work with it that way, it doesn't replace you. It makes you better. It frees up your time, it makes your work more strategic, and it keeps you, the human, right in the driver's seat. So if this technology is so powerful and has so much potential, why does it feel like so many of our workplaces are stuck in the past? In Section 3, we're going to get into the real reasons your office is so slow to adopt AI. Just think about it. In our personal lives, we've jumped on generative AI like crazy. I mean, almost everybody's played around with tools like ChatGPT or Canva. But then you walk into the office, and it's a completely different story, right? Adoption in the corporate world is just crawling along. There is this huge gap between how we use AI at home and how it's being used at work. And here's the thing. The reason for that gap isn't the technology. The technology is there. The real roadblocks are human. They're organizational. We're talking about company cultures that resist change, a total lack of clear rules or guidelines, teams that operate in their own little silos, and being chained to ancient, outdated systems. These are the real barriers holding companies back. So we've laid out the problems. Now, for our final section, let's talk about the good stuff, the solution. How do we actually move forward and harness the incredible power of this revolution? First, let's just take a second to understand the sheer scale of the opportunity in front of us. The prediction is that we are on the verge of one of the single greatest periods of value creation in history. Seriously, for the people and the companies who figure out how to use AI well, the potential is just staggering. So here's a concrete way AI changes the entire game for business.
For decades, companies have been stuck with this really hard choice. Do we focus on profit, or do we focus on purpose, profitability, or sustainability? Well, AI blows that whole trade-off to pieces. It allows businesses to optimize for multiple things at once. Suddenly, you can design a supply chain that's not just cheaper, but is also more sustainable. That old either-or choice, it's becoming a thing of the past.
So how do you actually get started? The good news is you don't need some massive, scary, multi-year plan. The smartest way to do it is to just start small. Run some little experiments. Pick one single workflow in your company and see how an AI agent could make it a little bit smoother. This way, you get to see the benefits right away, you build momentum, and you learn as you go, all without the risk of some huge, intimidating investment.
And really, that brings us right back to the bottom line. This whole fear of being replaced by AI, it's a distraction. The real threat isn't being replaced by a robot. The real threat is being replaced by another person who knows how to use AI better than you do. So the ultimate question isn't if this technology will change everything, it's how are you going to use it?